Alright, so a lot of you seem to actually really enjoy my first video about screamers, so I thought, why not make a part 2? Now, if you're watching this and you don't know what a screamer is, it's basically a cheap jump scare, which was usually hidden in something innocent to catch you off guard. The internet saw a lot of these back in the day. It was basically one big lesson to just never trust anything online. In my last video, I basically covered where are the most iconic screamers on the internet that everyone knows about. But in this video, I'm going to be covering some of the less popular screamers out there. Now, don't get me wrong, some of these screamers are still pretty iconic and a lot of people may know them, but there will be some in this video that you may have never heard of before. And just like in the last video, you won't have to worry about being jump scared in this video because I'm going to be putting a 3-second countdown before each jump scare. That way, you get to enjoy the video while also not being on edge the whole time. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this little sequel, and without further ado, let's go. Super Mario 64 Big Star Secret. Starting off this video with a very interesting topic, we have the legendary Super Mario 64 Big Star Secret. I've actually made a whole video covering the screamer if you want to learn more about it after watching this video, but I still think it's worthy of a mention here. Super Mario 64 Big Star Secret was a YouTube video uploaded way back in August 15th of 2007 by a user named LotusMan17. This was a tutorial which claimed to show you how to unlock Luigi in the game with step-by-step instructions done in Windows Movie Maker. The Super Mario 64 gameplay itself was recorded with a Motorola Razr flip phone and had noticeable changes to the textures. Mario's overalls were changed to blue and black, and the castle's brick textures were also changed to black. There were also some music tracks which played throughout the video, which are believed to be scaled to whispers in the dark, and those chosen by the planet from Final Fantasy VII. The video's audio would later be swapped to Alexander Pearl's database, confirmed thanks to this YouTube comment, although it is rumored that it was also swapped to 009 Sound System's Dreamscape at one point. The video only lasted a few minutes before the final step came out, which told you to go over to the wall and press A, and then the video would abruptly cut to the iconic K-Fi car commercial jump scare, which I covered in my last video. After the jump scare, some credits would roll, and it's believed that at the top of the text would say something along the lines of "trolled LOL." The video then ended after that. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm describing this video as if it's like some lost media thing and no one actually has the original and we only have this description based on witness accounts and short snippets of it. Well, that is because the video actually is lost media. Lotus would have this video up for a few years before deleting it around 2012. It is commonly believed that it was deleted in late 2012, but after a searcher named Syndexmon looked through many YouTube archives, it may have actually been deleted way earlier than that. The reason why the video was likely deleted was due to the amount of death threats Lotus was receiving in the comments section. It was even found out that Lotus actually disabled the comments entirely on the video in 2011, thanks to a Facebook post which shows an archive description which reads, "This video was done out of complete boredom, and yet people still wish to leave hateful comments. Therefore, commenting has been disabled." And since then, this video has become lost to time. There has been a big search for this video for years, but yet the full thing still hasn't resurfaced. All we have of it right now is an archived page of the video, the thumbnail, and 2 reaction videos, one of which were actually uncovered this year by Syndexmon and Marvel. Marvel being who started this big search in the first place. This was a huge find for the search, and as an avid searcher for this video, was really cool to see. It even contains the iconic thumbnail frame movie, which is pretty cursed, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, it's quite a shame, and it's shocking that this video is even lost in the first place. Like, this wasn't some obscure video at all. This video had around 700,000 views before its deletion, and yet there is no archive of it anywhere. However, there is actually some hope that this video can be found soon, and you'll see why. Syndexmon, the same person who helped manage to uncover the second reaction video, actually found out that if you shut down your computer in the middle of watching a YouTube video, back when the website still used Adobe Flash Player, the video actually caches in full to your temp folder and just stays there forever. As long as you don't close the tab and you use the power button on your computer or even unplugged it, the video should cache to the temp folder and stay there permanently. Our hope for the search since the beginning was that someone who downloaded the video and still has it came forward and uploaded it, and then bam, search was over. But now all we need is a witness of the original who got so scared that they shut off their computer in fear and still has the computer today. This graph basically perfectly explains what I'm talking about. With how many people watched the video back in the day, I'm actually pretty confident this could be the way the video actually gets found. So you out there, if you remember watching this video back in the day or even think you watched it and you still have the computer you watched it on, do not be afraid to check to see if the video actually is cached on there. You can watch this video on how to find the folder with your cached videos if you need some help with it. Who knows? You may have the video without even knowing it, and you can help put an end to this big search. Monkey on their backs. So this is one I'm honestly kind of surprised I didn't include in my last video, but honestly, I don't even think I was aware of this one at the time. So this right here is what is considered to actually be the world's first ever screamer, dating way back to 1970. To give some context, this was actually an anti-heroin PSA, which was created by the National Clearinghouse for Drug Abuse Information. Now, this company had already created several PSAs before, but this one would be a little bit different from their other ones. The PSA opens with a monkey toy crashing some symbols together with a girl narrator saying, "They say people addicted to heroin have a monkey on their back. Isn't that cute?" So far, this PSA seems innocent enough, just a little monkey toy crashing some symbols in front of a white background. However, you'd be wrong. Soon after the girl says her lines, the monkey suddenly stops playing the symbols, and then it zooms in on the monkey, which transforms into a real monkey as a loud scream sound effect plays.
They say people addicted to heroin have a monkey on their back. Isn't that cute?
Shortly after that, some text would pop up on the screen which says, "Why do you think they call it dope?" along with the company at the bottom. Pretty simple, but for this being from the 70s, I can imagine this was tons of people's trauma back then. You'd probably think, well, surely they banned this, right? Tons of people must have gotten traumatized by this thing. But nope, this PSA was never banned whatsoever. Pretty funny considering PSAs like the Hate Hurts You PSA had to be modified due to the man in the PSA apparently scaring a lot of people. And then the original version of that PSA would actually be lost media for almost 50 years before someone finally uncovered the original. So the fact that this was able to keep airing on television is pretty crazy, honestly. But despite it never being banned, there's not too much footage of it online, with the most popular upload being pretty low quality, having these weird black bars, and then another upload being higher quality, but having this pink tint to it. But hey, it was the 70s, so I can't imagine recording these things was anywhere near as common as it is now. Overall, while this may seem pretty tame now, it definitely scared a lot of people back then, and I'd say is important in screamer history. Kikia. Here's another one that I could have included in my previous video. Now, the last one we talked about is considered the first ever screamer in general, but this one right here is considered one of the first ever internet screamers. It would become pretty viral over the years as other screamers started to emerge. So this screamer was originally created way back in 2002 and was a flash animation that was posted onto a website called Kimmo, which was a Taiwanese blogging website. It starts out with a drawing of a boy sitting on some grass in front of a white background. Some text would start to appear on screen which translates to, "How long haven't you? Take a closer look at the sky." Based on that, you probably know where this is going. But back then, this was an innocent enough instruction. After that, it cuts to that same boy who is now in a city. More text appears which translates to, "Walking down the street, you see." But then out of nowhere, a picture of someone with pure white eyes starts flashing on screen with a very loud scream playing. Lasts only 2 seconds before cutting to some text which reads Kikia before the animation ends. Now again, this video may seem a little goofy and tame nowadays, but remember, this was one of the first ever screamers to truly gain popularity online. Not that many people had seen something which lured them into a false sense of security and just scared them out of nowhere, so you gotta wonder just how terrified people got by this video. It's obviously not going to be that scary nowadays because we're very used to this format. We've seen many videos which do this exact same trick, but at the time, this was pretty much unheard of. So yeah, this got pretty popular almost instantly, and there were even tons of fan-made versions of it, which usually just replaced the boy in the jump scare with different things. Overall, a pretty iconic screamer, which would help lay the foundation for future screamers on the internet, and is very important in screamer history. Garfield's Scary Scavenger Hunt 2. I've just realized how interesting this lineup is so far. We got a lost YouTube video, an old PSA, a Flash animation, and now a Flash game. Specifically, a Flash game about Garfield of all things. Yeah, you could not escape screamers if even Garfield was pulling them on you. It just goes to show how popular these damn things were at the time. Anyways, back in the early 2000s, Garfield was getting his fair share of games. You got Garfield Gets Real, which I actually remember playing, Garfield's Typing Pal, the movie tie-in game, and even those games on the Garfield A Tale of Two Kitties DVD. Oh yeah, this is peak gaming right here. Wait, you could beat this thing? I just remember traveling this maze forever, not knowing what I was doing. Anyways, there would be one series of Flash games which would stand out from the rest, and those were the Garfield Scary Scavenger Hunt games. These games were simple point-and-click Flash games where the goal was to eat every single donut and muffin in this haunted mansion. However, if you scared Garfield too much by clicking too many objects that scare him, it's game over. Now, in the first game, there's nothing that notable aside from finding Lyman, Odie's original owner, chained up in the basement, but in the second game, there would be a little prank snuck in there. So if you go to the gallery in the mansion, you'll find a painting on the wall. When you click on this painting, you'll see the painting up close with instructions that read, "Study this picture very closely. There's an important clue hidden in this picture." Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the developers were inspired by that exact screamer, considering it only came out a year prior to this game's release. Anyways, you start looking around and you try to find the hidden clue in this painting. But just as you're about to feel like giving up, a red pig flashes on screen for a second with a loud scream before the painting reappears with text saying, "Gotcha, click anywhere to go back," and "Just kidding." The funniest part? This screamer is completely useless and you don't even need to see it in order to progress. How fun. So as if all the mini jump scares already in both of the games weren't enough, they decided to throw this one at... Jeez, I just accidentally moved my pop filter. They decided to throw this one at you as well. This one might not be as extreme as some of the other screamers in this video or in my last video, but this was probably pretty scary for those kids out there playing this. Eventually, the games would be removed since the website it was on, Garfield.com, would be removed entirely due to Viacom acquiring Paws Inc., which was the company behind the Garfield IP. However, both of the games have been archived and you can still play them today in case you're interested. I will say that Screamer aside, both of these games are actually pretty interesting with how many different Easter eggs there are. I can see why they're remembered so well in the Garfield community. There was actually also a different Flash game made to promote the second Scooby-Doo movie, which pulled a very similar trick, but I think I'll save that for a third installment. That's a whole other Screamer to talk about. Jingle Bells Reversed. Oh boy, here we go. Here's another classic right here, Jingle Bells Reversed. This is actually perfect timing considering I'm releasing this video in December, so Merry Christmas, I guess. This one seems to have actually been pretty popular back in the day, with there being many re-uploads and reaction videos coming out of it. But if you're not familiar with this one, it was a simple Flash animation which was uploaded to Newgrounds in 2004 by a man named Daniel Fowler. Its basic premise was to show you what the classic Christmas song Jingle Bells sounded like in reverse and its hidden secret. You're probably pretty familiar with these types of videos which show you songs in reverse and claim to have some subliminal messages in them. But this was a little bit different. So the animation starts with a snippet of the song played normally with a little green visualizer on screen.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
So far, pretty normal. Then, after the snippet ends, the visualizer flips around and the same snippet plays, but in reverse. Some text at the top reads, "Listen very carefully to the lyrics." And so you listen very closely, put your ear up to the speakers to hear the hidden subliminal message in the song, trying to find out what exactly the secret is. But right as the snippet starts to end, a gif of Daniel Fowler himself, but inverted, pops up with a loud scream before returning to the visualizer.
Yes,
There's then some final text that reads, it sounds slightly different in reverse. Hidden message? Who knows? I'm a bastard? Yes. And then he goes on to list his email along with a promotion telling you to check out his other stuff on Newgrounds. Like I said, this streamer actually got pretty popular over the years, and there were many reaction videos of it. The screamer would also manage to get featured on Jeremy Winterroud's website, winterroud.com, which was created by the same creator of the Scary Maze game and would feature many different screamers on his website. There would also be an alternate version on eBomb's world, which was later re-uploaded to a Flash game website called y8.com, where the visualizer and screamer are yellow and the promotion text is replaced with, "Did you your pants as much as this guy?" Even YouTuber Matt Shea managed to fall for the screamer back in the day.
Take that, Bennett. Trying to jump scare me. I haven't been the same since I watched Jingle Bells Reversed, okay?
So yeah, a classic screamer which probably ruined Jingle Bells for a lot of people. Creepy Grudge Ghost Girl in the Mirror. Alright, so this one right here is actually insanely popular. This video right here is not only a popular screamer, but a popular horror video on YouTube. It's one of those videos that you just have to bring up when talking about creepy YouTube videos. But if you somehow don't know what this video is, it was a video uploaded back on January 3rd, 2008 by user ncook1234. It's a short video of a girl standing in front of a mirror while she puts on some earrings. After she does that, she stands in front of the mirror for a few more seconds before turning to the camera and waving at it. But you may notice, the girl in the mirror hasn't moved. What is going on? Is this a ghost? Well, your questions would be answered almost instantly because soon after the girl starts to wave at the camera, the video suddenly zooms into the ghost girl in the mirror who now looks way more demonic, with her having no pupils and her mouth being wide open. Now, you want to know how popular this video is? 5 million views, 10 million views, heck, maybe even 15 million views? This video has over 114 million views as of me writing this. 114 million. Those are really impressive numbers for some short screamer video, but it once again goes to show just how popular this trend was. Like, the original rocking chair video managed to get over 75 million, and the most popular upload of the Kaffe car commercial managed to get over 35 million. The Creepy Grudge Ghost Girl video would get so popular that just a year later, on January 16th, 2009, they decided to create a sequel titled Possessed Girl Beheads Herself in Her Bedroom. It has a woman going over to a bed and lifting up the blankets, which reveals the possessed girl just chilling on the floor with blue skin and pure white eyes. The woman screams at the sight of this, and the head of the girl soon falls off completely, which leads her to scream more and drop the camera. The video then ends with a shot of the camera on the floor with the possessed girl still in frame slightly, before cutting to black and ending. This one wouldn't manage to be anywhere near successful as its predecessor, but would still manage to rack up over 15 million views. Over the years, there would be many reactions to this video and even some parodies of the original, like a lot of parodies. With how impressive the special effects must have been for the time and how unexpected the screamer was, I can see how this got so popular back then. It was simple, yet effective, and I think this definitely deserves to be remembered fondly when it comes to the horror side of YouTube. Autoway tires commercial. So this one is actually a little bit more modern compared to all the others we looked at so far, being made in 2013. This is a commercial which was created by a Japanese tire company called Autoway Tires. Funnily enough, when you actually Google this company, most of the results you get are this very commercial. So this commercial must have helped them get some more recognition. Anyways, the commercial itself starts out with a warning which reads, "Not for the faint of heart video. Please refrain from watching the content if any of the following applies to you. Have any mental or physical health concern and may have to see a doctor regularly. We shall not be liable for any injuries, illness, and damages claimed to be caused by watching the content either." Is this a screamer with a warning? That has gotta be very rare. Most of these things don't warn you about anything. They have no remorse. You know what? Props to you, Autoway tires. Anyways, we then cut to some footage of two guys driving down a snowy road at night. Nothing much really happens in these first few seconds, and it just seems to be this road and nothing else. But eventually, the guys see what looks like some kind of ghost chilling in the middle of the road, and they stop the car. They honestly wonder what on earth this thing is and what it's doing in the middle of the road. And you're probably wondering that too. But just when you try to get a closer look at it and see what it truly is, the ghost suddenly teleports right in front of the car against the window with a sound effect to accompany it. The two guys get startled by this and try to back up to get away from the being, with some pretty convincing panicking from the two. It then cuts to some text which reads, "Snowy road is scary," before cutting to some more text which is actually being shown by the ghost on a laptop which reads, "Have you put your winter tires on?" The commercial then ends with the Autoway tires logo. So similarly to the Keifi car commercial, the screamer actually does have some sort of purpose here. Considering the two guys were on a snowy road at night and probably couldn't back up more quickly because of that, this commercial was probably just a way to let people know that if they have winter tires on the car, they can avoid situations like this more easily. But the Autoway tires commercial seems way more forgiving than the Keifi commercials, considering this one actually has a warning at the beginning. The commercial would go on to become pretty popular around the world and would even be claimed to be one of the scariest commercials ever. It also helped that it would be re-uploaded onto YouTube and would garner over 1.5 million views. Although this commercial actually used to be up on the official Autoway Tires YouTube channel and got over 9 million views before being private later on. So yeah, another interesting case of a company using the screamer to try and sell their product, and is also a rare case of a screamer with a warning. Bongcheon-Dong Ghost. This is definitely the most unique screamer I will cover in this video. This is also another one that a lot of you may know about due to how popular it was back in the day. With the other ones mostly being YouTube videos or flash animations or commercials, this one is actually a full-blown webcomic. Back in 2011, there was someone known as Harain who would create some Korean webcomics on the website naver.com. They'd released one in July 2011 called Oku Station Ghost. Now, something that was notable about this comic was something near the very end. Near the end of reading this comic, a hand comes out of nowhere and starts trying to grab the screen over and over again, jump scaring the reader. And Horain really liked the aspect of the comic. They liked it so much, in fact, they decided to do it again. And that's where the most infamous comic, Bongcheon-Dong Ghost, comes in. The comic was released in August of 2011 and would once again be posted to the naver.com website. Now, I'm not going to read the entire comic, as I think it's worth reading on your own. If you can handle it, of course. But I'll summarize basically what happens in it and obviously talk about the screamer parts. So the story is apparently based on true eyewitness accounts and takes place in Bongcheon-Dong in South Korea. It shows an exhausted high school student walking back home at night after some study sessions at her school. There's no one around, only her. She keeps walking until she notices a shadow on the ground, which was odd since she couldn't actually see anyone around her before. She looks up only to see a strange woman who was wearing dirty pink pajamas, seemed to have twisted joints, and had extremely messy hair. Understandably, the girl feels pretty intimidated by this woman and doesn't quite know what to do. And then the first screamer comes in. The woman very suddenly twists her entire head towards the girl, looking directly at her. The girl stays there frozen in fear, not knowing what this woman wanted for her. But then she'd find out when the woman asks one simple question: "Where is my baby?" Obviously, the girl has absolutely no idea where her baby could be, so she nervously points in a random direction far away from her, hoping she'd just go away. The woman would limp towards the location the girl pointed, and the girl decided to get out of there as soon as possible. But right as she starts to get away from the apartment complex, she hears the woman yell, "She is not here." And before you know it, you get the second and final screamer in this comic. After the woman yells at the girl, she suddenly runs straight towards the screen in a very quick manner with a sound effect accompanying it. And then it's believed the girl passed out and her neighbor took her home, as the girl herself doesn't remember what happened after that, and that's what she heard happened. The comic then ends with a little bit of backstory. In 2007, a 33-year-old woman in Bongcheon-Dong, known as Cho, lost custody of her daughter and decided to jump from her apartment and died on the spot. She would then be seen walking around that apartment complex several times. And that's the end of the comic. After the release of this, it blew up almost immediately. You had so many big names such as Corey X Kenshin, Dashy, and even PewDiePie reacting to this thing.
Nor did I have the guts to pass her by. Oh my god, my legs.
And of course, there were many reaction videos of this comic too. I can honestly see why this blew up the way it did. It was a concept no one had really ever seen before. The fact that this was made long after some of the most iconic screamers blew up on the internet and yet still managed to do something different is something to behold. Once again, I highly recommend you check out the full story if you're interested. The visuals are great and the concept of a webcomic with jump scares is just really cool. And it's definitely a screamer that is worthy of a mention in this video. Smile.exe. Once again, we'll be ending off with a bit of a goofier one. This one, in fact, is a My Little Pony screamer. How fun. There's actually quite a fair share of MLP screamers out there, but the one I'll be talking about this video is one called Smile.exe. Now, if you were around in the MLP community back in the day, you'd know just how popular creepypastas were in the community. Not even just creepypastas, horror in general. If you've watched a ton of MLP videos on YouTube, there's a chance you've at least heard of videos such as Cupcakes HD, Smile HD, or the MOV series. I vividly remember getting Smile HD in my recommendations when watching MLP videos back in the day and being way too scared to click on it due to me hearing about it being pretty traumatizing. And well, I dodged a huge bullet there. But anyways, in short, these damn things were everywhere and you could not escape them. And Pinkie Pie specifically seemed to be the pony to get the most horror created around her. So sometime in 2013, a game would be created called Smile.exe. Based on the title, it seems that this is some Sonic EXE parody, but with Pinkie instead. So let's see what the actual game is about, shall we? So upon opening the game, you're greeted with a very friendly but also pretty low quality looking title screen. The only things on the screen are PNGs of Pinkie, her cutie mark, and the MLP logo, along with a play, info, and exit button. Thankfully, it's not just a silent title screen because you get to jam out to the MLP theme song, and unlike Sonic.exe, it's uninterrupted. So fire. Anyways, after your jam session, if you click the info button, it says, every pony in Ponyville is sad and upset. As Pinkie Pie, you must go around town collecting your cutie mark power in order to make every pony happy again. Can you save the day and make the world a fun-filled, happy place again? When clicking the play button, you're transported into the gameplay immediately, which features pixel sprites of all of the ponies on top of a stretched background from the show, along with some very questionable looking birds. There's also Pinkie Pie's Smile song playing in the background, which, just like the theme song, is an absolute banger.
My name is Pinkie Pie. Hello, and I am here to say.
So as the instructions said, all you gotta do is go around town and collect cutie marks in order to make every pony happy. Seems pretty simple, right? Where after you're done cheering everyone up, you run into Princess Celestia, who tells you that you actually missed someone and you have to go back. Once you turn around and collect the last cutie mark, the game takes a total tone shift. Everything becomes inverted, Pinkie's hair goes flat as she starts to look around creepily, and all of the ponies you cheered at before are now, well, dead. The music also disappears and is replaced with this. Yeah, not sure I approve of this one. All you gotta do now is just go back to Celestia as Pinkie says, smile, as she passes by all the dead ponies. Upon reaching Celestia, she tells Pinkie that she is not welcome and that she must leave. So what happens next? The screen faces Celestia, who is now also dead. You're probably wondering how on earth you're supposed to progress now. Well, Pinkie just kinda stays there. You can't move whatsoever and you just have to watch her slowly go more and more insane as all she says is, just smile. And just as you're sitting there wondering what to do now, the game suddenly cuts to a very loud screamer of a red Pinkie Pie with blacked out eyes and some bloody teeth, which seem to be the same teeth from the Smile dog image. And well, that's it. That's literally the whole game. This screamer just lasts for an infinite amount of time and you're basically forced to just close the game. So yeah, a pretty cheap screamer that doesn't really do anything new. The game itself is way too short and just feels not scary at all. Like, come on, you gotta do something other than the cliche of all the characters dying and there just being blood everywhere. You gotta try something new for a change. And why does the screamer have to be so loud? Screamers can be loud, yes, but this one's just ear piercing. But hey, I can't hate the game. It obviously just seems like something the creator made for fun and didn't really take too seriously, especially with the low quality graphics. The game itself honestly did alright, with several horror YouTubers uploading videos of them playing the game themselves, with even the GOAT Corey playing it and getting 500,000 views on it. In case you want to try the game itself, it's still up on GameJolt to this very day. So if you want to experience a red pinky screaming at you extremely loudly, then be my guest. I am not interested personally. And there you go, those are some more interesting screamers. Like I said in the intro, I wanted this installment to feature some more obscure screamers that you probably haven't heard of before, while also including some pretty iconic ones in here too. I'd once again like to thank the Screamer Wiki for helping a ton with my research. I'll leave a link to them in the description so you can go check them out, because they have quite the catalog of screamers, and who knows, you might find a pretty interesting one or even one that scared you back in the day. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little sequel. I would totally be down to do a part 3 as well, so if you're interested, be sure to leave a like and I'll definitely consider it. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more in general, feel free to subscribe as well. My month-long Christmas break has likely started by the time this video comes out, so hopefully I can get some videos out for you guys during the break. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace!